Hi, I'm Dave Pinkerton with Advanced Services Heating and Cooling, your local heating and cooling expert. If you want quality service, quality installation, give Advanced Services a call, 740-773-4499.
Well, this guy made some news this Sunday and even more official news on a Monday. What a great way to start spring. Dr. Brian Cohen joins us now. Doc, congratulations on signing the papers to start your own thing. This is incredible.
Yeah, I didn't realize how incredible it was going to be until, when we announced it on Sunday and all the feedback, the positive feedback we've been getting. And then to sit and actually sign the papers today to make it official. It's, you just don't realize, something that you've been working towards your whole life. You kind of feel like every step you move towards it, it moves a step back. And then when you finally get there, you're just like, it's just such a gratifying to feel as excited after than you were while you're doing it. So it's been great.
But we heard some rumblings that this might be a possibility of happening about a year ago. And so I did my best to take a look and keep on going and to see it start to come to fruition. I can't imagine what this last year has been like for you personally.
Yeah, you would think it's, when you're trying to buy a piece of land that looks just like what it is a piece of land, you would think it would be probably fairly easy. And I'm not sure what your experience is, and this was my first experience in this type of purchase. There's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot that you don't realize goes into it until you find those people that have that knowledge set to kind of walk you through it. And my attorney, Jim Havens from Havens Limited, he's out of Columbus. I mean, this guy is a rock star in what he does. And, he just would not let me move forward until every I was dotted and every T was crossed. And I appreciate that. But, once again, when you're doing something that you're not really familiar with, you don't realize you don't know what you don't know. You just feel like, okay, this is what I'd like to do. Where do I sign? And that's obviously not how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And to start something that you're doing, it's one thing for the multi-sport portion of this, and the fan side of us are really excited about that. But to basically start a hospital, a medical facility, that's a huge undertaking.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, doctors are not allowed to own hospitals in this country. So our facility will be as close to a hospital as you can. It'll have an ambulatory surgery center, so we'll be able to do operations there. We'll have what we call surgical stay suites. So basically, it's almost like a hotel room that's monitored by a nurse. So we'll have at least 4 of those that will be on the facility site. And those are for patients who don't need to be in a hospital for their procedure, where they may need, they're high risk, so these aren't high risk people, but may not be ready to go home right away. Maybe they have a flight of stairs in their house or 2 flights, or they live alone, and you just want to make sure that when they do leave that they're as safe as possible. So this gives them an extra day or evening to convalesce. And even if they need 2, it's part of what we call a bundled package. So it just gives it makes your surgery center a little bit almost like it's on steroids. So you could just do more because the environment's kind of created for that. And then as after we have the operating room and the stay suites, it'll be a medical office building. So we'll have patient exam rooms. We'll have an urgent care, imaging center, physical therapy. So it's really, once again, it's as close to a hospital as we can get legally, but not really a hospital.
Yeah. And the incredible thing about this is I've seen and known doctors who have started their own practice and started in a nice little tiny building or maybe just an office or whichever the case may be. But you are jumping in full bore. And when you talk about doing it the right way, what better way to do it than what you're planning here?
Yeah. And, fortunately, I have 20 years plus of experience of practicing medicine in the region. And the physicians that are my partners in this project, also have an extensive amount of experience of treating patients in Southern Ohio. So we have, between the 8 of us, we have over 100 years of experience of taking care of people in Southern Ohio. And we're just at that point where it's not as frightening to start big as opposed if it was maybe 10, 15 years ago. And the other thing is that, you learn over your career, whatever you do, how you feel the right way is to do something. So really, as a group, we've come together that we really want to focus on our patients as our main priority. And I know a lot of facilities around the country say that, but we actually want to do it. We want people to walk out of there and kind of be like, really walk out and say that they really felt like they were like the only person being taken care of. Like it was customer number one is always customer number one.
Right. Have you announced your partners in this yet?
It's in our press release. So
Okay.
Dr. Bill Seaver, who's a native of Chillicothe, he's
Right.
the general surgeon. Dr. Mark Malinowski, who does interventional pain. Dr. Casey Chamberlain, who's also from Southern Ohio. He's from the Jackson area. Lives in Chillicothe now. He does interventional pain as well. He's a physiatrist. And then we have 4 non-operative sports medicine doctors, Dr. Jason Foster, Dr. Troy Thompson, Dr. Eric Liu, and Dr. Raul Rodales.
What a great way to start. You've got people who are ready to go, and certainly there are people lined up that are in need. So once you get this fully constructed and ready to go. Now, in this announcement with Mindy Dreyer on Facebook yesterday, this goal sounds like the end of 2024 to be up and running?
So at minimum, the goal is to have the healthcare piece up and running by the end of the year next year. And that's not, talking to our developers and our construction people, everybody feels like it's not a big ask to basically get this under construction soon and 18 months to build. So it's a realistic goal. I like to push things a little bit, but I really want to make sure that we get everything really focused on, what's going to make this facility very special and a destination of care.
Outside of the healthcare, you plan to have a hotel with restaurants. You plan to have the multi-sports facility in regards to baseball, softball, lacrosse, soccer. It's all going to be right there. And squeezing it all into 47 acres. I like that.
Yeah. It's been an interesting exercise. We're not, everything's not parceled and placed. But we know it can fit if done correctly. The nice thing about the hotel is that we'll have some overflow stay suites in the hotel. So the hotel will also offer, if we have 5 patients that need a place to stay, we won't have to, scramble. We'll have overflow rooms in the hotel that will not only be a hotel room but can double as a stay suite for our patients.
Nice. And of course, some fans around here would consider a crown jewel of this is a new proposed stadium for the Chillicothe Paints.
Yeah, I've been friends with Brian Wickline for years and years and years. And, even when I first moved here back in 2000, they were talking about moving or building a stadium in downtown Chillicothe. Right. And that seemed like, I grew up in New York and, going to the Yankee Stadium in the Bronx or to Shea Stadium in Queens, it's nice to have that kind of feel of the stadium within the city or amongst the where people live. But it just didn't work back then for whatever the reasons were. But it's something that Brian's been trying to do, and we just talked, and I just we've looked at other options before this project. And it just seemed like, if we're going to do this, why not combine everything together so that we can, satisfy what he needs to, not replace the VA stadium, but augment the VA stadium to help create, almost like if you think about the Olympics, they have multiple stadiums that they play at. So this would be a situation where if he wanted to do big tournaments, he could have multiple fields, not only on the new property, but also use the VA as well. So they're definitely not giving up the VA. It's going to be an additive to what the VA offers.
Absolutely. And as someone who has watched this develop since 1993 with the Chillicothe Paints, this was huge news when we heard it yesterday. It's one thing to talk about it, but now to start seeing it come together, it's like, wow, glad we've stuck around for this one.
Yeah, and talking with Brian, some of the features of the field that he's talked about is to sink the field down so that the outfield will be the grass hills. So you could sit in the outfield above the field and look down, and I just think it's gonna create. And just imagine driving down 23, in the summer and seeing the lights of a stadium just lit up, and it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, very much looking forward to that. I assume that may not be till 2025.
Well, it all comes down to the financing thing. They say the construction people that focus on the ball fields say that they could build the ball fields in the stadium within 1 year. So we just got to get all the ducks in order. And like I said, we have a really strong team, both on our legal team and our development team and our construction team. So I'm really confident that we're going to figure out the ways to do this. Our goal is not to obviously burden the people of Ross County with higher taxes. This is not we're not asking anybody to do this. We'll figure out how to do it. There's a lot of money that the governor has made available for projects like this in Appalachia. He just announced, I think it was like about 8 months ago that there's $500 million for projects similar to this. So, we'll go after grants. We'll go after, whatever money doesn't impact, everyday people, because the goal is not to, nobody wants a higher tax bill.
Right.
And especially if you just happen not to be a fan of sports, you definitely don't want a higher tax bill. So our goal is to make this, sum zero for the community, and it can be done.
And fortunate for us, the governor is a baseball fan.
Correct.
Very much so. My alma mater about a year ago put in a new indoor facility, and that's another thing that caught my ear yesterday. Indoor facility for basketball and indoor soccer and other sports.
Yeah, so these multi sport courts, multi-use sports courts, that's our goal, is to have, you go to some of these facilities and they're just basically big gyms that you can play volleyball there. I mean, if you go like to the convention center in Columbus, they're playing volleyball in 6 ballrooms, and then the 6 ballrooms next they're playing soccer. So something like that where we can easily flip the switch, so that you can not only play different sports, have tournaments, but if you wanted to do some event where you just needed a big room, you can convert it to that as well.
Yeah. I'm dreaming big. I've been there for the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Arnold Classic. Maybe you could host that one day.
Wouldn't that be nice if Arnold said, "I'm going to host next year in Chillicothe"?
That's right.
That would be awesome.
We're not making that news today. We're just wishful thinking, some dreaming, so to speak. Well, Doc, congratulations again on getting this put together. I know it's not an easy effort, and you've got a lot of people you've relied on to help make this dream happen. And I couldn't be more happier for you, and I'm sure a lot of other folks are feeling the same way.
Yeah, like I said, the feedback that we're getting, is just really outstanding, and it's just, when there's so much kind of positive energy, you kind of know that what you're doing is probably the right thing. So it's going to be interesting to watch, basically a field where they were harvesting soybeans, I think, turn into, what some of these pictures look like. So, hopefully you and I will get to talk a bunch of times during the next year and a half as this kind of comes out of the ground.
Absolutely. We've got the Litter Media drone ready to fly over and take pictures.
Perfect.
Thanks again for stopping with us and having this conversation.
I appreciate it. You have a great day.